Howdy friends, Wes here checking in with a brand new episode of the Vinyl Survivor. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you're all having a great day, great night, whatever it is, great weekend. Just want to do a quick programming note before we get started here. I hope you all got a chance to check out the first episode of what I'm calling the Great Vinyl Trade-In Haul. A bunch of stuff that I was able to trade in, some stuff I didn't want for. What I'm going to do with those episodes, I've got 2 more episodes of that to come, and I'm going to split those up in between episodes of Vinyl Survivor and other vinyl inbox videos and whatnot. So, you know, it's probably going to be a few more weeks before the rest of those episodes are up. So we're going to do a Vinyl Survivor now. We're going to do another beer review here in a couple days, and then maybe we'll do another episode of the Great Vinyl Trade-In Haul. So if you're looking for that, stay tuned. It's coming. They're already actually all shot. Just need to edit them and upload them, but I just want to space them out between. I don't want to do all inbox videos or all Vinyl Survivor videos or all beer reviews. I want to sort of keep things mixed up and maybe throw in some photography stuff in here and Birchbox unboxings. Got another Birchbox on the way. So that's that. If you're looking for that, it's coming. I promise. It's already shot. I just need to edit it, but I want to space it out in between some other stuff to keep some variety. So this is Vinyl Survivor episode 112. If you're new to the show, welcome. If you're a new subscriber, welcome. Thank you for subscribing. Look forward to hearing from you, talking to you, interacting with you. The Vinyl Survivor is where I talk about records that were new to my ears. I'm always listening to new stuff. I find rather than going back and re-listening to a lot of stuff over and over and over again, I'm always wanting to hear new things, and I'm just on this exploration and trying to hear all different types of music, all different types of albums. There's so many great classic albums that I still have yet to hear, and I just want to hear as much as I possibly can. So that's what this show is all about, me hearing as much music as I can and telling you what I like about it, what I don't like about it, and whether it's something I liked enough to keep in the collection for good. So let's go ahead and get into this. The first album we have here, this is an album from 1984 from Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark. This is their album titled Junk Culture. 1984, as I said. It's their 5th album. Really cool album. I really enjoyed the variety of different sounds they do on this album. They explore some different types of styles of synth music and hip hop and almost a world music kind of sound on here. Very, very good album from OMD. I'm really glad I picked this one up. I believe this is their the band's first album where they were working with a Fairlight. Particular favorite of mine is the track Never Turn Away, which closes out side A. So if you're looking for a cool song to hear off of this album, that's my favorite on here. It's a lot more traditional synth pop sound of a song. As I said, this album goes over a lot of other types of styles, I guess you could say, but that's my favorite. Really nice printed inner sleeve with lyrics, and something really interesting about this album. The opening track does not have any lyrics at all, so that's a really bold move because a lot of people are turned off by songs without lyrics. So to open your album with an instrumental track is just, it's brave, it's awesome, and I appreciate that quite a bit. And that's on the A&M Records label. So that's OMD's Junk Culture from 1984, absolutely staying in the collection, and a well-loved album by me. So definitely classic synth pop stuff here, good stuff. All right, next thing we have here is going all the way back into the 70s now. We have the 8th album from the band The Rascals. This is titled Peaceful World from 1971. It's a double album from The Rascals. This is right after the lineup had a pretty big change up. There was only 2 original members left, and they brought in a lot of new members. This album is really great. It's like one of those sort of lost classics, I guess you could say. One you don't really hear about this album, but it's just a really awesome mix of rock and jazz and just very interesting music. Like I said, it's one of those albums, if you have an open mind, put away your prejudices and just listen to it with an open mind and explore it. And it's just really a really awesome album, and really held my interest through 2 LPs. So that was really cool. I was really happy to pick this up. This was a dollar bin find for me. The cover's kind of stained all over, but I'm glad I got to hear this, and I'll have to keep an eye out for an upgrade copy to this one. Columbia, or this is a 2 LP set, and it's on the Columbia label there. And yeah, it closes out with the track Peaceful World, which is like a 21-minute track. You might spoil the album if you listen to that first, but it is an awesome way to close an album, and it's a cool 21-minute just journey through a peaceful world, I guess you could say. Highly, highly recommend this. Really cool stuff, and one of those ones where you don't really hear about this one. I've never heard anyone talk about this one, but it's an awesome album. Really, really good stuff here, so check that one out. That one's staying in the collection for sure. Next thing I have here is the 9th studio album from that little-known band, the Rolling Stones. This is Sticky Fingers from 1971 as well. Another album from 1971. This is a classic from them. Probably one of my favorite, if not my favorite, Rolling Stones album of all time. It's the 9th British release from them and the 11th American release. And this also happens to be the band's first album on their own Rolling Stones label, Rolling Stones record label, after they left Decca and London Records. So this is the free vinyl version that came when you bought the deluxe CD at Target. Cool little packaging thing I see they did. I see they just recently released another recent album where they did this, or you can buy the CD in the store, and then there's a online code that you go online and send off, and they send you the vinyl record in the mail, and I was really happy to get this. So here is the printed inner liner notes on this one. Unfortunately, you don't get sort of the working zipper or the opening where you have the underwear underneath and all that stuff on this one. This is a much simpler packaging. This single disc version of this was pressed at MPO in France, and it's really quiet, sounds great. Definitely a really nice copy of the album, and I'm glad I have this. I'm glad I was able to get this by just buying a CD in the store. That was a really cool thing, and I hope they, like, as I said, I see they've done that again, and I hope they continue to do that. That's a really cool promotional kind of way to sell records. And as I said, pressed at MPO in France. Awesome pressing, super quiet, sounds great. Can't say enough good things about this one. And yeah, Rolling Stones, Sticky Fingers. I really don't need to say much about the music. Brown Sugar, Wild Horses, which is probably my favorite Stones song. Rolling Stones, Sticky Fingers, staying in the collection, and a classic. All right, next thing I have to talk about is just a quick one here. This is another one of these compilations from Warner Brothers Records. If you've ever had a Warner Brothers inner sleeve that says, you know, send $2 for these collections of music, this is one of them you will see. Just sort of a promotional sort of sampler they would do. You know, you didn't have the internet or anything to be able to introduce people to new music. So this is another method that they had to introduce people to the groups that were on the Warner Brothers label and Warner Brothers associated labels. So you have really cool compilations. This one has Jethro Tull's on here, Fleetwood Mac is on here, Utopia, Montrose, Deep Purple, Jan and Dean, Doobie Brothers, Ron Wood, Tower of Power, Greg Allman, Van Morrison. Just really cool 2 LP sets and really fun sort of just samplers to pick up if you find these in a dollar bin or, you know, flea market or wherever. Somewhere cheap. It's cool just to put these on and spin them, and it has a nice variety of music from that time period. I believe this one is from 74, so that's sort of a time capsule of 74 without just being the best hits of 74. This is kind of just a mix of music from 1974. So these are cool to pick up, and I enjoy picking these up, and I do like collecting these Warner Brothers compilations. That's one of them you can get. There's lots more of these, and I recommend them if you can pick them up cheap. All right, next thing, moving back into the synth pop world, out of the 70s rock stuff, we have the 3rd album from ABC. This is How to Be a Zillionaire, you know, their most well-known album of all time. This one has Be Near Me on it. Just some great 80s synth pop stuff here. This is a really nice copy of it. Still in shrink with the hype sticker on it. And these guys aren't really one-hit wonders. I mean, the whole album is great. If you like Be Near Me, get the album. It's really good. There's the inner sleeve with some photos and liner notes. It's kind of, depending on what you're reading, you need to turn it different ways. That's pretty cool. And it's on the Mercury label, a little bit different version of the Mercury label that I'm used to seeing. Don't see that one too often. But yeah, just a really cool 80s synth pop album. As I said, it's more than just Be Near Me. If you like that song, it's worth checking out the rest of the album. ABC, How to Be a Zillionaire, staying in the collection as well. All right, next thing, staying in the synth pop realm. Definitely hit a synth pop vein here. This is the debut album from the Boston synth pop group named Face to Face from 1984. This is self-titled. Pretty good music here, pretty good synth pop stuff. Nothing is really amazing, but it's good and it's enjoyable, really interesting musically. The lyrics, I don't know, I'm not really much of a lyric guy anyway, but nothing really grabbed me as really striking about this lyrically. And I definitely enjoyed this one. This was a pickup from the Habitat for Humanity thrift store here in town, and I'm glad I grabbed this one. Definitely look out for some more Face to Face if I find them. There is a printed inner there with lyrics and stuff. It's the Epic label that they're on. Face to Face. Good synth pop album, and I recommend this one. It's good. Enjoyed it. So that one's staying in the collection. Okay, going back into the 70s, just barely though, and this is really more of a 60s artist. This is Harry Belafonte with Belafonte by Request from 1970. This is not good Harry Belafonte. It's very boring. It's just not good at all. He does a lot of cover songs, Mr. Bojangles, Marianne, Scarborough Fair, Oh Linda. Just, yeah, it's very cheesy. I can't recommend this one. I'm going to keep this just because I'm a Harry Belafonte fan and I kind of want to have everything. So I'm going to keep this in the collection, but I do not recommend getting this if you just want to hear Harry Belafonte. This is cheesy, sort of nightclub loungy kind of someone later in their career not sure what to do. It's on the RCA Orange label, kind of doesn't say Dynaflex, but it's basically a Dynaflex record. So Belafonte by Request, not recommended, but I'm keeping it just because I'm a completist on Harry Belafonte. Next thing I have to talk about is a folk album from Phil Ochs. This is his fourth album titled Pleasures of the Harbor from 1967. This was my first official foray into listening to Phil Ochs on vinyl, my first vinyl pickup from him. And this one, this was such a letdown for me. Nothing turns me off more than somebody whining about how their girlfriend did them wrong and those kind of songs. And that's what this album is. I was wanting the political Phil Ochs, I'm not fighting anymore Phil Ochs. And this is not that. It's just whiny to me, and it turns me off. So this is not a good album in my opinion. Brown A&M Records label. This was a turnoff for me. I just didn't like it. It closes. The last track is kind of interesting to me, titled The Crucifixion. It's kind of more of an avant-garde kind of thing. A little bit different. Definitely something woke up the album a little bit, but otherwise it just wasn't for me. It didn't do anything for me, unfortunately. When I hear folk music, I want to hear something political. That's just how I am. Get me riled up against some sort of wrongdoing or something like that. I don't want to hear about whining about people and bad relationships and all that kind of stuff. Just don't want to hear it. So, Pleasures of the Harbor. I actually already have someone who I'm going to be sending this to as VCLT. So, just wanted to get it in an episode of the Vinyl Survivor and give my thoughts on it. Not for me. Next up, moving back to the Harry Belafonte sort of collection here. This is from 1966, titled In My Quiet Room, his 16th album. So by 66, he had already released 16 albums. Very prolific artist. This one is slightly better than By Request, but only slightly. This one's another one where he's trying, by 66, the rock and roll thing had started, the folk thing was out. All the folk artists were looking for what to do, what do we do? He was trying to go for more of a I don't know what it would be. It's very sort of a sort of a balladier kind of, I don't know exactly what he was going for here. It's very tame, it's very smooth, it's very mellow, but it's not in a good way. So I can't recommend this one either. This is another one I'm keeping in the collection, but it's only just to be a Harry Belafonte completist, not something I would play very often. The RCA label with Nipper there, Dynagroove label. Harry Belafonte in my room, not recommended, but I'm keeping it to be a completist. And the last album we have to talk about is the debut album from the Australian synth-pop band The Expression. This is self-titled from them, 1984. This was another kind of a letdown for me. It's okay musically, but it doesn't really grab you. It's kind of just boring. It's just sort of mediocre, I would say, as far as synth pop goes. The lyrics, again, nothing really interesting there at all. Picture of the group there, some lyrics, and they're on the A&M record label as well. So it's gonna bookend this episode with some synth pop. Unfortunately, this one is not a winner in my opinion. It's just sort of mediocre. Maybe if you find it really cheap and you're curious, give it a try, but I'm not recommending it. I didn't think much of it. I've listened to it a couple times. It didn't do it for me, so that's going to do it for episode number 112 of the Vinyl Survivor. Hope you enjoyed it. As I said, stay tuned. The next vinyl-related thing is probably going to be the second episode of the Vinyl Trade-In Haul, and then we'll get back to another episode of the Vinyl Survivor, and then we'll do who knows what after that. Might be the January Vinyl Inbox after that. But thanks for staying tuned. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Leave me some comments down below. If you're not already subscribed, please subscribe. That makes it easy for you to know when I release new videos and helps let me know you like what I'm doing. So thank you for that. Thanks for checking it out. Have a great day, great night, whatever it is. Remember, there's no bad music, only music you don't like. Cheers. Bye-bye.